Hi, everybody. This is Gary Dean, and this is our nightly video report for Monday, January 9th, 2017. So we saw a little bit of a pullback today, one of the largest we've seen since 2017 started. And I still think this is just all part of the topping process right now. I'm don't believe it is the start of the swing trade lower, but it's you can't be 100% sure on that because you have all the technicals that are pointing lower. So if it did head lower, it would make sense. But I just think that the Bulls have that 20,000 in their head, and they're going to try to push the Dow up there, come hell or high water. So I mean, but that's just a momentum thing. It's very hard to trade on that because you don't know when it's going to end. There's nothing that you can look at and say, okay, well, momentum is dead. What you can do is look at technicals and say that, okay, the move higher is it's starting to slow down. The rate of change is slowing, and we're seeing that. And that's something that I had mentioned, is that what happens in a topping process is you make a high, and then from there you have somewhat of a pullback, and then you come and you make a minor new high. So this one was at 2277, and we made it to 2288, and now we're back down below the 2277. So this is where the frustrating part comes for just about everybody, because the Bears are, they got stopped out once it crossed here, and you have the Bulls that chase the breakout here that are now, just a little bit underwater. There's nothing major, but I'm just saying this is where the frustration part comes. And I can see it getting very, very choppy before we get that, the bigger move to the downside. So it's I don't think it's here. We could end this at 2300 if we start breaking support. Then what happens is you just wait for the reflex bounce back up to resistance, and you take a short side. But like I said, I still think they're going to try higher until they can get the Dow at 20,000. But missing it by a point or something, maybe that counts. It's tough to say. But what I was originally looking at was that this was just an ABC of an A, and then we were making a wave B and down. So obviously that pattern's off because we took out these highs. So it looks like this was just an ABC, and when we got down to the moving average, buyers came in, and then we gapped it up, and we're here. So really the best wave count and pattern that we could look at is you have your hang on one second. Okay. So we have our wave one here, two. Now we made a wave three. And we did an ABC of a four, and it was right at the 23% retracement. And from there, we're making a wave five. Now, we want to eye this down because once this completes, we should have a much, much deeper move to the downside, and I think it could catch some people by surprise. So, yes, we could head up to the 2300 level. It would make sense just because momentum's there, and they may want to get the Dow up there. But from a technical standpoint, we have bearish divergences at the on the 60-minute. We have bearish divergences on the 15-minute. And if we come look at the daily, we have bearish divergences there. So from a technical point, I'm not really interested in buying this market because I believe that there's going to be more points to the downside than there are the upside. But I'm not saying that we can't head up to the 2300, even higher than that. I just think once it tops, the points to the downside are going to be more, and that's why I'm just going to try to be patient on this. But I do see volatility is going to start picking up soon, and when it does, it's going to make things kind of fun to trade. But right now, I do believe this is probably the start of a topping process, but it's not really the time period to start getting aggressive on the short side. So with that, let's see what plays out tomorrow. Leave your neutral hats on, and I promise you soon there's going to be some tradable action that's going to be taking place. But until then, let's just be patient, stay neutral, and see what plays out. So until tomorrow, I will talk to you guys in the morning.